to Bellerin, Bellerin, back to Bellerin.
Owned by Mustafi. Bellerin, brilliant! 2-2.
Hector Bellerin, Bellerin, Hector Bellerin. Na, 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 na. Dat is het. Ja.
All right, everybody. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are. Welcome to the live edition, the pre-Community Shield analysis edition of Saved by the Bellerin, the Arsenal football podcast here at the Sports Talk Night Network. I'm Raphael, joining you from the United States. Joining me from London today is Sam. Welcome, Sam.
Hi, mate. How are we?
You're flashing some stylish new Arsenal attire there.
Indeed,
you
indeed.
are ready for the new season.
Yes.
I need to catch up a little bit. All right. The match starts in a roughly 13 minutes. A little bittersweet, Sam. I'm looking at they're showing the field. They're showing the lineups out there. And I'm looking at some players who might be playing their last match in Arsenal kit. You know, I just saw the back line warming up, and there was Hector Bellerin, and there especially was Rob Holding. Some news today that he is leaving.
Yeah. Apparently, Newcastle are leading the chase for him to go out on loan. I think that's a good move in sorts, because if we want to keep Rob Holding moving forward, I believe that he does need a full season, that I've discussed previously on the pod, that he needs a full season so that he can regain the match sharpness, get over his injuries, get a bit of consistency to his game, and get back to where he was previously. Now, I think Newcastle will be a good club for him because Steve Bruce is very good in terms of identifying getting the best out of defenders. I think that he will add something to Newcastle's back line in terms of being able to play the ball out from the back for them. So, all in all, I think that it probably will be a good move. But if I had to have my pick on the club of where he was to go to, I personally would have liked him to go to Leeds, who are also in the chase for him as well. So, yeah.
Nothing confirmed at this point. It does sound, though, that if you're hearing loan, Arsenal might be hedging their bets with him. You know, we talked about him a lot on the pod. Is he somebody you want to sell? Is he somebody you want to keep? This seems to be they're kind of splitting the difference if he's going out on loan.
Yeah, I think with Rob at the moment, if you can tell within his game that his previous injuries are still playing a big part of his mobility. I think Arsenal have come to the conclusion of that, as I say, he needs that full season under his belt. If the problems still persist, then I think that they'll be open to selling him, and hopefully next year the whole COVID situation would have eased a little bit and sorted itself out. But hopefully then his stock on the market would have been a lot higher than where it is at the moment. So we could see more loans than sales at this point in time, but as we've discussed here, we have got money to spend. It's just whether or not Arsenal want to build that extra transfer kitty this season or ride it out and see where we are in a year's time.
Right, but we are looking at numbers, and those of you who watched the podcast Tuesday and Thursday, we were talking about the fact that if you look at the numbers are allocated for the roster's full right now. So we're all waiting to hear words. Obviously, we know Gabriel Magalhaes is all but in. You know, we're waiting for Aubameyang to come in, but we need to know, who's joining them. But nothing is going to happen until players like Rob Holding, maybe Hector Bellerin, maybe Callum Chambers, maybe Kolasinac, maybe people like that start breaking the logjam and creating space, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I had to look the other day with Gabriel Magalhaes coming in. We're literally up to the quota of 25 players, so we are going to need to sell, loan at least six, potentially 5-6 people to go out. Then you factor in come December, some of our under 20s, 21s, they're going to be turning 22. So you're then going to have to factor in potentially making more space for them so they then get registered as well. But ultimately, I think the hold up in terms of getting more players in is simply squad space, and it's going to be people going out. Then we'll get players in, because we've got to think about this logically as well, because where other teams can say, well, you're at your squad quota. If we don't come in for your player, you've got a player that you can't register for next season. So following on with that logic, it's going to be clubs will come in with even lower offers for our players. So for us, I think loans are going to probably be the predominant outgoings. But if we need to sell, I think that we've put base figures on the players that we're willing to sell. It's just whether or not other clubs will come in and match that. As we see with Ainsley Maitland-Niles, we want a minimum of 25 million. I've read this morning. We've had bids of 18, people coming, and then I think 18 and 22, Ryan was saying in the group chat the other day. So it's not quite there yet, but if the clubs want the players, they'll have to pay the price. It's as simple as that, really.
All right, let's turn to the match, because it's 5-6 minutes away. We've seen the starting lineups. We know one thing we've learned about Mikel Arteta, he doesn't sit back. He doesn't sit on the excuse, well, I don't have a full squad, or I need to rotate. I need to rest my players. But looking at the lineups that are going out today, we know Liverpool clinched so early. They went on that. They were playing games, but they were on extended vacation the last few weeks of the season. They had their camp in Austria, and I mean, it looks like they're ahead of us in terms of conditioning, in terms of preparation for the season, and playing in the FA Cup final kind of delayed that. Arsenal's just getting players in. I'm seeing a lot of starters in the Liverpool lineup, a lot in Arsenal, but not as many.
Yeah, looking at that Liverpool team, is
pretty close to starting lineup, right?
Yeah, more or less. You'd probably take out Milner and Nico Williams and put Trent Alexander-Arnold in at right back, and probably Keita in for Milner. But other than that, they're more or less full strength. But that's by the by. Concentrate on us. I think Emi Martinez, obviously, he had a fantastic final for us. As we know, there's a lot of reports saying that he wants to leave if he's not going to be number one. I think that he's got a big job trying to oust Leno, and that's my personal opinion on that matter. But he's got the nod today, so pleased for him in that aspect. Hopefully he has a good game. If he does, then that could be an indicator for the start of the season. But see how it goes today. As we've just discussed with Rob Holding, he looks like he's going to be off.
El Neni. This might be. I'm looking at this and talking and listening to you now. It occurs to me this might be what we call the shop window match. A lot of these players are the last time they were on this pitch, they won the FA Cup. This might be a chance for them to audition. You might call this the audition Community Shield. Yeah. Well, we know.
Well, we can say possibly 4 or 5 of that team is going to be out, sold or on loan this coming window. So, I think that it is going to be a shop window, as you say. The only thing that troubles me in this team for us at the moment is the pivot of El Neni and Xhaka. As we saw the game against MK Dons, there wasn't really any progressive passing going forwards. It was more sideways and back. But hopefully Arteta's drilled into them that they need to put the balls into the wide areas. I quite like Maitland-Niles out on the left-hand side, actually, because he's got that pace to burn past the fullbacks, and also it gives Aubameyang that bit of freedom as well. So
that's a tactic he used in against Chelsea in the FA Cup final as well, putting those two. And Tierney, that left side was really effective in that match with those three.
yeah, so if we're going to be doing that again, so the flip side of that is going to probably be Nico Williams. He's not a slouch. He's fairly solid player, but I think if we can focus down his side, use his inexperience a bit, we could get some joy. But ultimately, I think that we made the mistake last year of giving up the wings to Liverpool, and as we saw, David Luiz got torn apart by Salah that game. But ultimately, I think now we've got a much more solid base. It'll be more. I believe we're going more counter-attacking in today's game, but I think we've got enough to potentially sneak a result against Liverpool today.
All right, we've got about a little less than a minute, but very quickly, this team didn't really match up that well, at least early in the season when they went up to Anfield. I mean, let's just be fair about it. They were outclassed. They beat Liverpool late in the season, and the excuse from the Liverpool partisans, well, we've already won the title. We're kind of coasting. We're going to get to see what Arteta has. I think it's kind of a free game for him to experiment. So I'm intrigued by what you're saying. Something for us to catch up on at the half.
Yeah, definitely. As we always say with the Charity Shield, Community Shield, even. If we win, it's a trophy. If we don't, it's a friendly. It's a build-up. But the main thing for me with this game is getting minutes in the legs, seeing how the team's coming back, and just see how we line up against a really top draw opposition. So yeah, we get a nice run out in the white kit today as well. So I think that we've definitely got. Well, I think we can definitely get to the half still being in this game. Okay. So, yeah, see how it goes.
Come back and join us at the half, and then come back and join us after the match. We'll be talking about this, and then who knows, we might see other transfer news where it's that time. Maybe somebody on this pitch is going to inspire a team to come in and make a move. We're in that silly season. So, thank you for joining us for the pregame. Come back and join us at the half.